music in the film is just incredible, you know, from start to finish. It was fun because in movies, you know, really early on, music was in my movies, you know, Risky Business, Bob Seger. You know, the pinnacle at that time was Top Gun, but then even Cocktail later, or Rain Man, how we used music in movies, it really had changed at that point. So we had great albums, great, you know, albums for movies.
Excuse me.
What we did, which was different, we didn't what we call jukebox a movie, which means you buy a song from an artist who was the 13th song on his album and never made the album, and you just throw it in the film. We made composers come and actually see the sequence and write something for the sequence. We were very lucky to get Kenny Loggins. He did a couple of songs for us.
Harold Faltermeyer sent us the theme early, before we started really filming. We might have been filming for about a week, and da da na 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 na, and we were all around going, it was so moving, that music.
And I played it for Don, and Don flipped out, and we sent it over to Tom, and Tom got so excited hearing that theme. So that theme was done before the movie was made, which is really unusual in filmmaking.
I'd rode dirt bikes since I was a kid, but that was the first time I'd ridden a superbike, you know, and at that time there was a Ninja. That was a lot of bike, and it was a lot of fun. You know, we're rolling on film, and we'd go back, and, you know, I'd be like, okay, at the end, and then on the highways, I would just, you know, lean down across the tank and just, you know, go back. I had no helmet. I'm not wearing any pads. And I get on the bike, and I just want to go fast.
Lieutenant!
They were always like trying to get me off the bike and put me in a car to drive back. I was like, so like, I can't hear you, you know, and I go and just take off. And they're like, okay, they're like, got used to it. So one day I remember it was a Friday night, and we did the shot on the street, and I just hammered down the highway to base camp. All of a sudden I realized I was going a little too hot going into the parking lot. No one else was there because the whole crew was filming on the street, and I'll never forget, like, I was like, oh, here comes a gravel. And I hit that gravel, and I'm like, oh man, I'm going down. The bike's gonna go down. So the bike came out from under me, and I'm spinning around, dust is going, and gravel's going, and the bike's just like, and I was like going so fast, like when I stopped, it was like it pulled me back up on my feet. I was standing there in the parking lot, you know, the gravel, I was like, holy shit. You know, and of course, I'm waiting for the dust to settle. I'm looking like, who saw? You know what I mean? Who saw? One of the Teamster captains there, he's a buddy of mine. I looked at him, he was there like, he was pale. He thought he'd just seen me get killed, you know? This didn't happen, right? And he was like, it didn't happen.
Tom wanted to have everything as authentic as possible, and we were all for it. We wanted it the same way. Of course, insurance policies and things like that, the studio wasn't really happy about putting actors in real airplanes. We wanted to make sure that they had the realism, our actors. And so we took them down to Miramar. They would sit in the simulators. We made them weightless. We did all kinds of very interesting things with them.
You know, the dunk tank and the hyperbolic chamber.
1, 2, 3, eject! Okay, if you're all right, give me a thumbs up. That was great.
I went through all of the training for ejector seat training. And I still, on my logbook as a pilot, I have the ejector seat training. And I always look at it, it's like there's my checkout from Top Gun, 1985.
The pilots who fly these airplanes and the Rios who fly these airplanes train right here at the Naval Air Station in Miramar. The people who fly the airplanes for the movie are from Fighter Squadron 51. They're just a squadron that was available to assist the movie company during the times that their training was not as busy as other squadrons here on the base.
The aerial footage to date is the best aerial footage ever in movies, and that's Tony Scott. And Tony Scott, of course, changed how airplanes were filmed. You just look at the technology that we were using at that time period, and at that time period, it was the cutting edge, and we were using it right to the extreme. You know, the speed of the film wasn't what you have later on. At that time, there were no GoPros. You know, they had to design camera mounts and lenses.
You know, we had them in the cockpits, we had them under the wings, we had them just about everywhere. So that was quite a show to get this done, to get these cameras in various places and have the pilots say, it's okay, don't worry about it.
We shot my flights, and I did 3 flights in one day. I remember I ate a huge breakfast, you know, in the morning, which you should. I remember my pilot's name was Bozo, okay?
The sequence we're going to pick up is from the deck into a really high-performance, full Zone 5 sustained nose-high vertical climb. We're going to go ahead, as we're in the climb, Tom Cruise, you're going to be saying your line, whichever it is. I'm not sure what the line is specifically. And you're looking for the bogeys to get ready to help your Bud Iceman.
At this time, we only had 5 minutes of film, and we had to be very careful. And Tony set the angle, and you know, we're trying to set it up so that when the camera's going past, it's like Tony was directing me, so make sure your camera's here, and you're looking, and you look back to the camera so I get my cut. They gave me a plastic bag, so I had the plastic bag right here, you know, so that I could pull up, you know, if I needed to pull up, hurl, you know, and then tie it up. You know, it was a badge of honor, you know what I mean? I'm in the cockpit. There's a lot of glass there. You know, we're flying just feet over the desert. We're doing heavy maneuvers, and sweat is pouring off my face. And, you know, I've got to push the button, let it roll, and then cut the film. You know, do we get the shot? I don't know. Let's do it again. And we're pulling heavy G's, and suddenly I'm like, man, you know, I'm just going to quickly hurl, get that done, then we'll get the shot. I don't want Bozo to see that I'm hurling, you know what I mean? So I just go like this, filling the bag. Suddenly, he pulls up hard. Like, as I'm hurling, my head gets, my spine, you know, it lengthens out, and my helmet and my head is on the floor by my feet. Okay, I'm looking underneath my seat. I'm trying to find the push to talk. I'm going, I'm like, I was choking to death. I'm like, and he's just like, finally he levels off. Did you look in the mirror? Did you see that you couldn't see me? You know, and I'm trying to, like the whole time I'm trying to talk to you. He goes, oh man, yeah, I thought I heard you trying to say something. He goes, man, they don't call me Bozo for nothing. I was like,